Okay, everyone, hello and welcome back to my channel. I think I mentioned this in a previous reading, but Spirit's been pulling me back to like these older decks that I haven't used in literally years, that I kept purely for teaching purposes. And I've been called to like clear out a lot of my other decks and clean up. And that might also be part of a message here for someone, is to clean up your space, because when you clean your space physically, I know it doesn't look like that back there. I'm also organizing, and I feel like I say that a lot, but we're right on the edge of the time when I start booking a lot of camping and like outdoors activities. So here we are. All right. This is made to know. I was the greatest birds. Apparently a lot. Wow. Okay, let's go. What do we got here? The Emperor reversed. We've got the Six of Swords upright. We've got the Magician reversed. We've got the Eight of Cups. Okay. All right. We've got the Page of Pentacles reversed. We've got the Star reversed. We've got the Nine of Swords. This collective, you've become really ungrounded. You've lost your power. You've lost the feeling of you having a sense of worthiness, a sense of something has happened with this collective. Okay, this could be an event with your family, an event with work, but something has happened where this collective has really lost faith in themselves. Ugh. Okay, speech, people, speech. This collective has really lost faith with themselves. They lost faith in what it is they can do, in their intuition. They've lost faith in what it is they even know. With the Magician reversed here, this collective has become really distant. And what's happened is it's filled this collective with a lot of anxiety, right? You've become very ungrounded, very disconnected from your soul, right? And there's two areas. There's something that you're leaving behind with this Eight of Cups here that's really emotional and it's really difficult. And you leaving this behind, some of you might actually be leaving two situations behind, because in both these situations here, with the Six of Swords and with the Eight of Cups, both situations involve someone walking away. Both situations are involving a crossing of passage either by or near water. Okay, so this gentleman in the Six of Swords, he's in a boat crossing. Okay, this one, he's walking away on his own. Okay, this could be, I'm getting a few different things here with these two cards in particular. The first is that you initially walked away from a situation with others, okay, with your family, with kids, with whatever. But there was other people involved who supported and were walking with you. And now you're walking alone, or you feel like you're walking alone. You're walking away from something where you've tried to make a specific situation work out, and it just hasn't been working out. It just hasn't been. And so there's this feeling of loss. There's this feeling of you tried new beginnings, you've tried new things, okay, and it hasn't worked out with this collective. And so there's this feeling of failure. And I really want to start by saying that if that's this collective, if you're feeling like a failure to some extent, you need to understand that that label is not your identity. It is just the thing that has occurred as a result of a specific situation. But it's not a failure in life. It's not a failure in what it is you're doing. Sorry, my dog's here and he started being a little I don't know if you can see him, but he started being just a little needy. There's this sense of like you put everything into something with this collective and then you were almost like sideswiped out of the middle of nowhere. That's the energy I'm getting. And now you're in a state of you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, and you're really just barely, you feel like you're barely making it through day by day. This collective, you feel like you're really struggling with life. You feel like you're struggling with what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it, money. Some of you might have had a failed business recently, or you feel like you've had a failed business and you're just really down and out. And especially with this Nine of Swords at the end here, a lot of you are having sleep issues, sleep paralysis, I'm hearing. Anxiety is also a problem that this collective has had, okay? For some of you, I feel like there's two situations that have gone on here. For some of you, which is kind of a theme for my previous like 3-4 readings, there's always been like two scenarios. And the first one is that in this case, that someone walked away from a relationship. Okay, either there's a divorce, but there's some sort of really long-term relationship situation that occurred where you walked away. You feel like you gave up everything for this relationship and now you're leaving it on your own, okay? Of your own fruition. It's not worked out. It's not, you tried, you thought you had the ability to keep it together and you feel like you didn't, okay? And so for some of you, that message is coming through here and you feel like you've almost been blindsided. Some of you, this might have also been a cheating situation. Hence the feeling of blindside, okay? The second group of people though, I feel like this has to do something with work. So either you got laid off or you were working on a job or on a company for a company and you made some decisions or something happened and the resulting factor was that it was a failure, okay? And you've, as a result, lost income or perhaps you're in a lot of debt here. But there's something here where you tried to get something up off the ground and you didn't see all the possibility. Okay, yeah, the loon. The moon. That's interesting that I said the loon, and it's also interesting that these stinking lights went out. I just put one on. I'm gonna see if it goes out. I don't know what the deal is with these lights. I'm going to tell you, I had this the past 2 readings that I've done in this room. I've had this. So I said the loon originally, which might be assigned to some of you. Okay. The loon, the common loon, it's a bird species. I live in Ontario. And so the loon is something that, that we have as a bird. Beautiful bird. I love the loon. Honestly, I think it's a gorgeous bird. I think they have gorgeous, I love birds in general. But anyways, La Luna, which is the moon. Okay. When you combine your Spanish and English, this is what happens. The moon, right? There is things that you didn't account for. Okay. Whether it's in the relationship or whether it's in terms of the workplace, there's things that you did not account for. There's things that you didn't plan for, and that came with far greater consequences than this collective initially felt or realized. Okay, I've got the Page of Wands reversed, the 8 of Wands upright. Don't know what that is yet. Hold on. The deck is active today. The King of Wands reverse. Okay. The King of Swords. Okay. There's a lot of this really like big energy here with the kings. You've got the kings, you've got the emperor, you've got 2 pages. It's almost like I'm feeling like this collective was a little out of their depth. You thought that you had king level knowledge, but you really had page level knowledge. And so you ended up in a situation where you weren't looking at the reality of what was going on. And as a result, there's a lot of loss. There's a lot of this feeling of, I'm really just coming back to almost like this internal mantra of like, I failed. Like, I failed. I didn't succeed. This is awful. All the work that I did went to pot. Like, it's useless, you know. And I really just want to kind of focus on that energy, because I really want to stress that we all fail at things in life. I have failed more times than I can count. I have attempted to create probably 7 different online businesses now. And every single one of them has failed for some reason or another. They've either failed because I've had to force it to fail for legal reasons. They've either failed because of my lack of discipline. They've either failed because of my lack of consistency. They've either failed because of financial situations or issues. There's always failure. And I think that what you need to understand is it doesn't mean that you don't have any knowledge. It doesn't mean that you don't know things. It doesn't mean that you can't get yourself back up on your feet. Okay? It doesn't mean that you can't turn this energy around. Every single person has a light. Every single person has a purpose. There is not one person on this planet that does not have a purpose. Every single person has a purpose as to why they are here. And even if you're not sure how to make or bring your purpose to fruition, sorry, this table is like super wobbly all of a sudden. Even if you don't know how to bring that purpose to fruition, it doesn't mean you don't have one. It doesn't mean you're lacking. It doesn't mean that it's not for you, okay? And I think that's something that this collective, here's what I want to say with this collective that I really feel. And a part of me is wondering if I should even bother trying to pull more cards. You're looking for answers and guidance outside of yourself in these readings. I did actually a very similar reading to this a few months ago, where I talked about looking outside of yourself for the guidance and like going and doing a lot of this, like kind of hopping between different tarot readers on like YouTube or getting readings from different people, instead of going inward and doing the hard work to spread the energy in a new direction, to focus the energy in a new place, in a new direction. And I think that this collective, just kind of doing that again. You've had this massive upheaval in your life. Yeah. You've had this massive upheaval in your life to some degree or another that has completely shaken your foundation, completely shaken your world. And you've turned towards tarot readers or oracle readers, some sort of reader like this, psychic reader, to ask for guidance, to ask for help, to figure out your next step, because you don't trust your own judgment anymore. You don't trust your own intuition anymore. You don't trust what it is that you think or believe anymore. And so you're now, this collective is really relying on kind of others to almost tell them what it is to believe, to almost tell them what it is that they should be doing, to almost tell them that they should be partaking in these different things or doing these different things. And there's really a message here of to step back and to do the shadow work, to sit, to journal. For some of you, maybe you want to meditate. For some of you, maybe you're going to want to go and do more nature walks. But to put yourself in situations that is going to make you uncomfortable and do things that is going to start fostering that trust again. And the easiest way to start fostering trust in yourself again is for you to make decisions for you, not for me or for any other reader to turn around and say, this is the decisions you need to make. It's for you, the person, to make the decisions that you need that are going to be best for you in your situation. And so to an extent, this reading isn't totally irrelevant. To an extent, this reading is completely pointless because you're looking for someone to tell you this is the next step, this is what you should be doing. But it's not my place to tell you that, what your next step is. And especially in a general reading, it's really not my place in a general reading because so many people have access to this. It's my place to give you the hard truth and to say, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I'm not going to say that what you did was necessarily wrong. And I'm not going to say that it could have been better. And I'm not going to say that it could have been worse. I don't know. Again, this is a general reading. And that's one of the drawbacks of general readings is you're not able to tune into each individual energy in the general reading. It's a general collective energy. But what I will say is that as much of an upheaval as this has been in your life, it doesn't mean that your judgment and your understanding of situations and the decisions you made are absolutely terrible and you're an awful person. It doesn't mean that you're an utter failure at life. It doesn't mean that even if you had made different decisions, I know I just changed thought. Even if you had made different decisions with this collective, oftentimes the outcome would have very much been the same. It just would have occurred in a different way. So dwelling on this, like there's really a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of anxiety, depression. I'm really getting that this collective honestly is in a pretty dark place mentally. And you're trying to find some sort of guidance, some sort of hope in readings like this. And I understand that, but I really, really want to reiterate that it's not outside of you. You might be disconnected, but all of that power is still in you. All of this knowledge is still in you. Even the lessons that you just recently learned, those lessons are still in you. You just are having a moment where you're not accessing them because you're in this depression and you've lost your light. You've lost your light, okay? You've lost your goals. You've lost your sense of purpose. And there's a lot of things that are hidden right now. And they're going to remain hidden until you start working through this emotional upheaval. And for the vast majority, like again, this is kind of why I'm leaning a little bit towards like a relationship situation, because I am getting more of like this really emotional upheaval. Instead of a upheaval. And I'm also really thirsty. This reading, I'm really, really, really thirsty. Like I keep wanting to drink like more water, like more and more and more water. So yeah, it's almost like this collective is like thirsty for answers, thirsty for knowledge, thirsty for validation. And I'm taking this again because of my thirst for water. And really, you need to understand that you're your own worst enemy. There's nothing that any reading is going to tell you that subconsciously you don't already know, that intuitively you don't already know. You're not going to find that in the readings. It's not going to be found outside of you. It's going to be found within you. I really think this collective would benefit. Some of you would honestly benefit from therapy. some sort of psycho or somatic therapy. Some of you would benefit from journaling, and a lot of you, I think, would benefit from some degree of shadow work. I think there's a lot of you that need to consciously work through this situation, and as you do that, you're going to regain your own trust and regain your own clarity and regain your own sense of purpose and find your passions and find your vision again, find your goals again, get in this state of purpose again. I'm gonna leave that here. See you all later.